Hello everyone. Today what we're going to be doing are applications involving percents. There are a ton of problems out there that deal with percents. Like I said when we started this whole unit on percents, percents are surrounding us in our daily life. So we are going to do several word problems that involve percents. Okay, first off, let's talk about sales tax. Okay, sales tax is a percent of the purchase price. So let's look at, here's our equations. Amount of sales tax is equal to sales tax rate. So let's say, like if we live in Riverside County, we pay 7.75%. And we're going to multiply that by the price. How do you get the total amount that you're going to pay at the cash register? Your total is the price of the item plus whatever the sales tax amount is. Okay, so always also here, I put a little star here, round the amount of sales tax to the nearest penny. Okay, so here's our first problem. You try it number 2. Okay, so this is in section 6.7. So you try it number 2 says if the sales tax rate is 7%, find the amount of sales tax due on a carpet that costs $209.99. Okay, so let me get to my page here in the book for that. Okay, so let's look at solving this problem. How do we go about it? Well, here is the equations that we need to work with, and so we just need to figure out how to plug it all in. Okay, we're given the sales tax rate. Okay, your sales tax rate is 7%. Okay, so that's something that we do know. What else do we know? We also know the cost or price of the carpet. Okay, price of this carpet is $209.99. Okay, so how do we figure out the amount of sales tax that we owe? Okay, how do we do that? Well, there is our equation, sales tax rate. What is this sales tax rate? Let's convert it into a decimal or into a fraction, okay? You can convert it into a decimal, and that's fine because then we're just going to be multiplying decimal values together. It's 0.07. So our sales tax rate is 0.07 multiplied by the price, which is $209.99. This is a great section to rip out a calculator on and make sure that you understand how to do this stuff on a calculator, because this is, like I said, things that happen in daily life. Okay, the amount of sales tax then that we owe is, well, come off to the side and we do $209.99 multiplied by 0.07. Okay, so in multiplying those together we get 63. Now that we go to 69, and then it becomes 69 and 14. So how many total decimal places? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we are at $14. And notice here how we have to round up. We want to go to the nearest penny, and this takes us up one notch. Well, now it becomes $14.70 is how much we owe in sales tax. So that's the amount of sales tax that we're going to owe. So how do we find the total cost of the carpet? The total cost or the total price of the carpet is going to be the, look up above here, price plus amount of sales tax. So the price of the item was $209.99, plus we're going to add to that $14.70. Okay, and that gives us a total of, if you add those up, $224.69. If you want to pause this while you add that, just to make sure that we get the same answers, that's great, because I'm going to go through many of these a little quickly. I'm not going to do all the work off to the side, okay, just to get through this section. Okay, so there's your total cost, okay? So let's circle that. Okay, so you can say the carpet costs $224.69. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is commissions. Several people work based on commissions. A lot of people in your department stores, they work based on how much product they sell. A car salesman works based on how much product he sells. Okay, so salespeople earn a percent of what they sell. All right, so here's the way you calculate commission. The amount of commission is equal to the commission rate multiplied by the total sale. And you don't have to go and add anything together like we did the last time. How we had to take the cost of the item plus the sales tax amount. We don't have to do this. The amount of commission is what that person's earning, okay, in dollars. Okay, let's do, you try it number 3. You try it number 3 says, Raylan sells stereo and camera equipment at an electronics store and earns 2.5% on everything she sells. Yesterday, she sold electronic gear totaling $4,793. How much did she earn in commission that day? Okay, so what we want to do is look at the percent, or let me call it commission rate. Okay, so her commission rate is 2.5%. Okay, what is 2.5% converted to decimal? Convert these, again, like I said, convert these to decimal, and now start using your calculator to multiply them out. So we're going to get 0.025. Okay, because remember, if we're converting from a percent to a decimal, we're moving our decimal 2 places to the left and dropping the percent sign. Okay, so her total sales was $4,793. Okay, so let's put all this into the into our equation. Here we have our equation as amount of commission is equal to 0.025 multiplied by $4,793. Okay, so when you go in and multiply that out, and like I said, you guys can go in and multiply that out yourselves by doing this. You can go over here or plop out that calculator, like I said, 0.025. Okay, so what I get here is 15, that's 45, 46. Okay, and then I get 35 plus 4 is 39. Okay, 23. Okay, so that's what I get there. Now let's multiply it by 2. I'm going to get 6, 18, 15, 9. Okay, let's add those together. 5, 12, 18, 9, and 11. Okay, how many total decimal places did I have there? A total of 3. 1, 2, 3. So what I get out here is $119.83, because again, we got around to the nearest penny. Okay, so Raylan earned $119.83. Okay, so that's how you can calculate commission. Okay, how about discounts? Discount is a reduction of the original price. I love discounts. Okay, so discounts are my favorite. Okay, so let's look at the equations first. Amount of discount is equal to discount rate times price. Very similar to calculating sales tax. The only difference is when you go to calculate. Let me fix up this this equation here. When you go to calculate the total price of the item, you actually take the price of the item and you subtract, ignore that, you subtract the amount of the discount. Okay, so let's look here. You try it number 4. Diamond Adventure is offering a 30% off on all its tents. Find the new price of a tent that originally cost $169. Okay, so what's the discount rate? Well, the discount rate is 30%. Okay, or how do you put that into decimal form? It's 0.3, right? Because we moved the decimal over 2 spots. Okay, and now the price of the item, or in this case it's our tent, the price of our tent is $169.95. So to go into calculate the amount of discount, what we are going to do is take the discount rate multiplied by the amount of the tent. Okay, so when we multiply these, again, off to the side, multiply them. Okay. And keep your decimals in there, and then we'll count them all up at the end. Okay, 15, 27, 28, 29, 20, and finally 5. Okay, how many decimal places? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what we get here is the discount amount is $50.99. Okay, that's the discount amount. That's how much is coming off the original price of the item. So to get our total, we need to take the total to be $169.95 and subtract off $50.99. So getting off to my, obviously I have a little scratch paper side here that I'm working with. So subtract these off. Okay, so here we get 6. And then we get, have to borrow here again, so we get 9 and 8 here, 1, so $118.96. Okay, so that's the total price of the tent. So the total price of the tent, is going to be $118.96. Of course, you still have to calculate your tax onto that. That has nothing to do with it. You always calculate your discount first, and then you calculate the tax that you're going to pay on the item. Okay? So let's look at tipping. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to tipping here. Clicked it one too many times there for you. Okay, tipping. Let's look at how to calculate a 15% tip. Okay, so to calculate a 15% tip, here's our equation. Amount of tip is equal to 15% times the price. That's pretty typical, 15% for a tip for a waitress or a waiter. Okay, once you calculate the 15% of the total amount of the bill, then you add that to the price of your bill. Okay, so let's do an example here. I'm going to try and show you a fast way to do it because I try to do it quickly in my head at the restaurant. Okay, and I don't try not to use the calculator. So let's see if I can teach you guys how to use how to calculate it in your heads. Okay, the first method I'm going to show you is just the basic old throw it into these calculations and do it, and then I'm going to show you the fast way. Okay, so here our total bill is $75. So amount of tip will be 15%, which is 0.15 times 75. Okay, so 0.15 times 75, if you multiplied this out, what you're going to get is 11.25. You can do that off to the side. You can do that calculation yourself. Okay, so that's the total amount of the tip. Okay, so total bill will be $75 plus $11.25. So we're going to pay a total of $86.25 for our bill. Okay, so that's the dinner tab for the evening. Okay, how can you calculate tip a lot faster? Well, it's very easy to calculate 10%. Okay, a 10% tip is very easy. Okay, 10%. Why is 10% easy? Because 10% is the same as saying 10 over 100 or 1/10. Well, when you take 1/10 of something, okay, for instance, if you're taking 10% multiplied by 75, what you're doing there to get 10% of something is because you're just really dividing by 10, you're moving the decimal place over one spot. So that gets you 750. Okay, well, what's 1/2 of 10%? 1/2 of this is 5%. Okay, so if you take half of that, well, then it's going to equal to also half of this. Well, what's half of 750? Half of 750 is $3.75. Okay, what happens when we total these up? We get $11.25. So what you could do is you could do that a little bit more or less in your head. Okay, another way that people calculate tip for us, as long as you're living in in Riverside County or wherever, sales tax is 7.75%. Okay? With sales tax, if you multiply this by 2, you're at roughly 15% tip. So what you can do is just double your sales tax. Okay, if your sales tax was $3.50, then leave a $7 tip. Okay, so that's another way to calculate tip. So here's a couple different options for you. Okay, so percent increase or percent decrease. Here's the equations for percent increase and percent decrease. Percent increase is equal to the amount of increase over the original amount. Percent decrease is the amount of decrease over the original amount. Okay, so let's do a problem here. You try it, number 6. At the end of May, a stock price was $48. At the end of June, the stock price had increased to $54. What is the percent increase in the price of the stock? Okay, so if we're looking for percent increase, if we want to figure out what the amount of increase is. Well, amount of increase is the difference between 54 and 48. That's how much the stock price went up, right? So how much did that stock price go up? It went up a total of $6, right? Okay, so in order to find percent increase, then we need to take the amount of increase, which is $6, and divide it by the original amount. Well, where are we starting at? When we're looking at here time-wise, we started in May at $48 and then went up to $54. So this is what is considered the original amount. So that's over 48. Okay, so you can reduce this to 1/8. Okay, and when you divide this out, 1 divided by 8, okay, give yourself a couple of zeros with your decimal point. You're looking for this to be a percent, so put it in a decimal form and then go to percents. Okay, so what we have here is this would be a 1. 1 times 8 is 8, leaves you with 20. Here's a 2. 2 times 8 is 16, leaves you with 40, and that's a 5. So this is equal to 0.125, or what's the percentage? 12.5%. Okay, so that's the percent increase. So the stock went up 12.5% in that 1 month time. Okay, so that's what you would write. Stock went up 12.5%. That's how you'd state your answer. Okay, let's go into the next problem. The next problem is you try it number 7. Okay, so you try it number 7 now. Still dealing with percent increase or percent decrease. In 2005, the Cayuga Rotary Club had 33 members. In 2006, the club had only 27 members. What is the percent decrease in membership? And it says round to the nearest thousandth. Okay, so I've got to remember that. Okay, so we're looking for amount of decrease. Okay, so let's look at amount of decrease. So the amount of decrease is, well, we started out at 33 and went down to 27. So the amount of decrease here, again, is 6. Okay, so let's look for our percent decrease. Our percent decrease is amount of decrease, which is 6, over the original price, well, or the original amount. What's the original amount? Where did we start from? Well, we started in this case now, again, time-wise is really how you end up looking at these. We started out with 33 members, so it's 6 over 33. So if you can reduce this down, maybe it might make your life a little easier, or you could just divide it, a 6 divided by 33. I see a 3 in each. Okay, so I wind up with this fraction 2 over 11. So you can do that division, 2 divided by 11. Give yourself a couple of zeros there. Okay, so 1 times 11 is 11. Okay, so here we got 90. So there's 8. Okay, so 88. Okay, and then there's 2 left over from that, and drop down the 0. Do you see what's going to happen here? We already have 20, so this is going to be 0.18, 0.18, 0.18, 0.18, It's going to be 1818181818. So let's see, how do we get this into a percent now? Well, to put it into a percent, we need to move the decimal over 2 places. So we get 18 point, it said to round to the nearest thousandth. So let's go out to the thousandth. 10, there's tens, hundreds, there's the thousandths position. So noticing here, this right here is an 8, so we got 182%. Okay, so let's go on to the next set of problems. Simple interest. Okay, simple interest. Here's the calculation for simple interest. I is equal to P times R times T. Okay, I is the amount of interest. And this could be, let's say you're earning interest on a savings account. That's the amount of interest you've earned. Okay, based on the principal that you've put in. So P is the principal, the amount of investment. R is the rate that you're investing it at. If you're putting it in the bank at 5% interest, that's that interest rate. And T here is time. Time in terms of years. So if you put this money in this account for less than a year, this is going to be a fractional amount. Okay, so let's get into a problem. Okay, you try it, number 8A. Okay, 8A says, Karen put $2,000 in a savings account that gained interest at a rate of 6%. How much interest did the account gain after 1 year? Okay, so let's go in and use our formula here. Let's write down what everything is. I, P, R, T. It's good to have these all written out, then you just have to plop them into the equation. Interest is something that we don't know, okay? This is unknown. We are looking for this, okay? How about the principal? This is $2,000. R is 6%. Make sure you write this in terms of its decimal equivalent, if that's what you're going to be using is the calculator. T, time is 1 year. Okay, so let's see here. It says I is equal to 2,000 multiplied by 0.06, or in this case, you know what, I'm going to use, hold on here, because I don't have my calculator pulled up, I'm going to use it in terms of fractions. I'm going to go 6 over 100. But by all means, you guys go ahead and use your calculators and see if we come up to the same answer. Okay, I'm going to now start cross-canceling. This 100 goes into the 2,000 there, and I am left with 20 times 6, which is 12. Okay, so there's the interest. The interest is $120. If I can spell interest. The interest is $120. Okay, so that's how you go in and calculate that. Plop it into that equation and just start calculating. Okay, let's go to the next problem. You try it, number 8A. Okay, Sandra put $5,000 in a special account that gained interest at 8%. How much interest did she get after 9 months? I, P, R, and T. Let's look at all of these. Interest is what's unknown. That's what we're calculating. Okay, principal is $5,000. The rate, 8%. How do I write it? That is the same as 0.08, or 8 over 100. Any of those can be used, okay? So time, 9 months. I said the time here is in terms of years. So if I have 9 months, months isn't going to work for me. I needed this in terms of years. How do we get this in terms of years? 9 over 12 would be in terms of years. You divide it by the number of months in a year. Okay, so 9/12. Or can you simplify this down? Yes, that can be simplified down into how about 3/4 of a year. Okay, so now let's put it into our equation. I is equal to 5,000 multiplied by the rate of 8 over 1,000, or 8 over 100, because I'm just going to do it here, cross-canceling, multiplied by 3/4. Okay, let's start cross-canceling these. The 100 goes into this. I'm going to wipe out those 2 zeros. 4 goes into here, and you're left with 2. Okay, so now I just have to multiply straight across. So I is equal to 50 times 2, which is 100. 100 times 3, that would give you 300. Okay, so the interest that she earned in 9 months' time is $300. The interest earned is $300. Okay, so that's how you go in and calculate those. So there are several problems in here in this section that deal with real life examples. Okay, good luck with this section, and I will see you next time.